Time to take you back again. This time to 1987.
Ooh, high school.
Yeah, it was my last year of high school.
Yep.
So this is The Cult. If you remember The Cult.
Yeah. So okay. So The Cult. I've always avoided The Cult, and this might be another Primus situation. Because my impression of The Cult is new wave, and when I was in high school, new wave was coming in, and all these keyboard bands, Susie and the Banshees.
You're thinking The Cure. This is The Cult.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I have a feeling that I probably saw The Cult and The Cure as pretty much the same thing. Never listened to them because I was against it at the time. I know better now that I shouldn't have shunned so many different genres back then. But that being said, I haven't listened to The Cult. I've avoided
Wasn't
them.
Shaquille O'Neal in a Genie movie? It's another Mandela-ish kind of a thing. For some reason, you have this notion, and that's what they are, and you know it, and then you hear it like, oh, okay, like Primus.
So you're saying they're not a new wave?
It's one of those that you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Because it was one of those, the same thing, and I was still in high school and it was still kind of shitty. So when I got to college, then it was like, I think it was my neighbor who would play it in the dorms, just blasting The Cult all the time. You son of a, and I'm like, oh, it's good, you son of a. It was,
Interesting.
So I started getting into it. That Love Removal Machine, which is the track we're going to hear, played live. They have all the components of rock, that enigmatic front man, a great guitar player like an Angus Young type of thing, and that solid rhythm section. All the pieces are in place, and it to me they're kind of like they're kind of a newish AC/DC with a Zeppelin tinge to it, a little bit of a Doors tinge to it. Yes, but you'll see, because Ian Astbury, the singer, was compared a lot to Jim Morrison. I think he actually sang in with the Doors later on, and you'll see in this the vocal has some Robert Plant influence. So you'll see. Just hold your horses. We'll check out Love Removal Machine right after this.
All right, let's see if my impression of The Cult was way off. Love Removal Machine from 1987 live.
You're too
Duffy.
Okay, so obviously I was wrong about the new wave bent.
Obviously.
However, they are, I mean, I totally agree with you. I hear AC/DC in there. I hear the Doors in there. His vocals are very Jim Morrison-y.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely more, almost too much on the AC/DC side. And as you know, I'm not a huge AC/DC fan myself. So there were parts of it that I was like, not really my bag. But it certainly blew away my preconception of the band. Not at all what I thought it was.
It's like a take on them, but sort of more alt, or adding 20 years to it. There's definitely these are little pieces of a lot of things, really, that come together in this song. And Asbury's definitely has a unique, he had a little Marilyn Manson look going on then, but at least he wasn't wearing lipstick. So, but it definitely there's sort of that new age, tinge to it.
New wave, not new age.
New age. There's no violins.
No.
Yeah, it's it has that again. Those the 4-piece guitar driven rock and roll.
Yeah, I think the one thing that stands out is after watching all these other videos by all these other bands and talking about musicianship, I didn't think anyone there really stood out as amazing musicians. The guitarist was fine, but not anything to write home about. The music was fairly simple. The song.
Yeah, it's not rocket surgery. It's definitely that AC/DC. It's very, very, it's AABA, and it's got the hook and it's got the chorus.
Yeah.
And, it's, but it's the overall sound. It's got a little bit, again, of a more almost 90s flavor, but which I'm not into. So it was always a borderline with them.
Yeah.
But just something about the power of it and Ian Astbury's vocals. And
the vocals took me by surprise, honestly, because he did sound really good in certain parts, like his inflections and the notes he would choose. I didn't expect. And absolutely, I hear the Jim Morrison part in there, which was pretty cool. And I also heard the Robert Plant, especially with the baby.
Yeah, I mean, but he has a very distinctive vibrato that can get a little out of control. So it gets a little Spinal Tap there, but it's it's very distinguishable. Obviously, he had a lot of vocal gigs from that, just being a very unique. he has something going on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like Morrison meets new.
Yeah, and I guess back in the 80s when this came out, 87, I was in high school, and I was all about uh, really digging 70s rock and, the older stuff and what we call classic rock today. Um, and so when these new bands were coming out, I I hate to say it, but I immediately kind of rebelled. I'm like, oh, they're new, so they can't be good. Or, like I said before, I thought they were more new wave, which I avoided like the plague back then. Um, and so I, again, missed out because I think there's probably some stuff I would really like from the Cult the more I listened to them. This one, it was okay. It was a lot better than I expected because honestly, what I expected. So it means I should listen to some more and see what I think. Yeah.
There's no gun to your head.
Well,
But
no,
no,
but I don't want to miss out on something that, could have been something I really liked back then. And just because of my bullheadedness, I wouldn't listen to it.
Well, it's, again, I go back and forth on it, but it does show you that when you put the similar four pieces in place, the very steady backbeat drumming, the droning A chord on the bass,
Yeah.
and then the guitar doing a cool hook, and then vocals over top. But when it's, what genre, what era it's played in, you really hear, even though it's the same formulas, and maybe the same chord structure even, but it just sounds different.
Yeah.
And it's got a little crossover where maybe if it was 5 years earlier, it might have been even a little more oomph to it, but it has all the elements of a sort of that pocket classic guitar ribbon rock.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting when it's presented in different ways, and doing a lot of these videos where breaking down such where it would be, okay, there's not just verse, chorus, verse,
Yeah.
Breaking all these things down, you see really this is the same components as so many groups.
Yeah.
Queen or The Who or AC/DC, on and on and on.
Yeah.
But yet there's a very distinctive sound.
Yeah.
I like when they can at least cement their own sound.
Well, and it also shows that even if you have all the ingredients, it just matters how you put it together as to what comes out. Like, you might have a couple of really amazing musicians in one of these groups that can take these simple A-B songs and take it to the stratosphere. And then you might have some bands that, just do a great job of doing just a nice rock classic song that, right. It's cool to listen to, but it's not going to blow your socks off.
Yeah.
I owe it to myself to go back and really pay attention to the stuff that I shunned back then, because I think I probably will, realize how much I've missed out on newer music. Back then it was newer music, like Primus.
Well, you're open-minded to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're open-minded. So when you get some of these pieces of this chronological musical puzzle that you may have missed from here to here or from here to here. Now you're filling in the gaps a little bit.
Right.
So it may either you would like them a little more than you thought, or it just helps you maybe like something that's more current.
And that's the thing. This was strictly a product of the time back then, because my mentality back then was, if it's not classic rock, it's not
crap.
It's crap. Exactly. And then later on in life, I started discovering newer music and started falling in love with a lot of really cool new bands. But I still haven't revisited all the stuff I skipped back then. So the shows made me realize that, hey, I need to go back and listen to some older stuff that I just totally avoided back then, because I think I might have missed some really cool stuff. I'll try a few more cult songs and see, do they break away from the AC/DC mold and build into something bigger? I don't know. I'll have to check it out.
Well, it was obviously clearly that it was that time where you were a little bit more hyper focused on classic rock.
Yeah.
Where these guys were known, sort of Ian Astbury, the singer, and Billy Duffy. That was your Axl Slash. That was your Page Plant. That was your on and on.
Right.
Daltrey, Townsend. Those pairing that was big in that time. That album really I think they had at least four hits from it. That and Firewoman and some other things. So
yeah,
worth checking out. Again, it fills in your musical chronology.
Yeah, exactly.
And it might spark up a renewed flame.
Yeah, who knows? Awesome.
You never know.
Well, thanks for introducing that to me.
There you go. So that was The Cult, and I pronounced it wrong. It's actually Love Removal Machine.
Machine.
That's in Asbury, brother. All right, we'll be back for more. Hit subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell so you get notified of new videos, and we'll be back with you with more rock and roll.
That's right.